Hello everyone, hello once again, and welcome to the Prismata News and Game Dev Insights Show. I am your host, Elliot from Lunark Studios, and today I have a special treat for you. It's story time. I was going to make this a blog, and I decided to make it a vlog instead. Something quite interesting and remarkable happened, well, over the past 2 years, but we found out about it recently. And it's such a strange mystery that I wanted to share it with you guys. Sort of half to get it off my chest, half because I really need to communicate this to the community, and also to offer an apology to a number of people and to thank a number of people who helped us track this down. This does not spoil any part of the campaign or anything. It will discuss one of the single-player missions. And in fact, from the puzzle pack, not from the campaign. And so the story, I've titled it, like, down there, the case of the spontaneously easy mission. This is weird. I've never had anything like this happen to me as a game developer, ever. So, okay, here's the story. The puzzle pack, so let me show you guys this. Here, we'll get the chat back in the corner. The puzzle pack was released recently. It contains 27 different Prismata challenges in 3 groups. Let me describe a bit about the history of how these were created. We actually started creating Prismata puzzles like within the first year of developing the game. So like I would say 2011 was when we first realized, oh, Prismata puzzles could be cool, because Prismata was kind of like chess to us, and chess puzzles were cool. So obviously in Prismata you could have, you know, mate in 3, or like, you know, win from this position, or stuff like that. And Will posted the first ever Prismata puzzle to our group, and it was actually insane, and you had to, like, there was no purchasing involved. It was just like a set of units, and you had to play around with them and try and force a draw from a position that looked completely lost. And it was just like utterly fascinating to us. And so we continued working on puzzles and just kept them in our back pocket. And some of them became missions, and some of them went into that free puzzle pack, like the countdown mission featuring the rhinos. That mission, for example, was one that Will created super early on. But a lot of the puzzles in this puzzle pack were actually created, I think, about 2 years ago. There was a specific summer holiday where I was like staying at my grandparents for a while, and I just like, you know, during the day I would work on these Prismata puzzles, and I kind of did that for a week or two during this holiday. You know, partly because I'm a workaholic and I never take a real holiday. I just end up working on stuff, but also just because it felt like a fun thing to do for a couple of weeks, right? And for me, it was sort of a getaway of working on programming or developing the game, which was just to make puzzles and design them. And so each of these puzzles has a story and a history. You know, Quandary of Limitations was one of the first ones I made in this group, and it's sort of like a logic puzzle almost. Some of these are really hard optimization challenges. And the one, of course, that stood out as being this insanely hard one was the Invasion. And the Invasion, so it's got the 3 skull grading. We wanted to, like, this difficulty level of the stars and skulls was actually stolen from this mobile puzzle game that Alex and I played. It was basically like Star Battle for your phone, where you have like a grid and you have to put some stars in them. I think it was called Alberi. I don't remember. But they had like a star difficulty system, but then the really hard ones were skulls, and then they even had 2 skulls. And I really loved the feeling of that difficulty system, because, like, you know, like doing a 4 or a 5 feels hard, but then there's even harder than that, right? So this challenge pack was sort of about these insanely hard puzzles. And of course, if you guys remember Impending Doom, which was this puzzle that Will made that nobody could solve. Like, Shalev spent a whole day on it and finally solved it, and he said it took him, you know, like 24 hours of just trying to solve this puzzle, or something insane like that. And for me, similar. And we ended up publishing it as like a Kickstarter bonus, and everybody in the whole community worked together to solve it. And I think, you know, people were streaming it, and there was like chats where people were discussing different lines and exploring, and it took 4 hours before somebody had a solution, and 7 hours before the second solution, or something like that. You know, we thought that was just way too mean for players. But the Invasion was almost as hard. Like, this puzzle was, you know, like, Will tried it. It took him like a whole day. Alex tried it. I think he gave up and asked me for the answer at some point. I can't remember. I could be misstating that. You know, Shlev and David both thought it was fucking insane. And so we gave it this, like, 3 skulls. And it's the only 3 skull we've ever created and shipped. Like, Impending Doom would also be a 3 skull. And I think compared to the Invasion, Impending Doom is harder. But Impending Doom is hard for a reason that I find particularly unfair. Which is, like, I don't want to spoil the puzzle. But basically, like, it's a lot of searching through different possibilities. And in particular, like, some possibilities look like dead ends, like it's a losing position, but it turns out because of some weird quirkiness of Impending Doom that maybe you should have searched a little bit further before giving up and trying something else. So it's not easy to prune. And puzzles that are both deep and wide, and you literally just have to search everything, you know, they're sort of hard by nature. And Impending Doom is hard for that reason. The Invasion is hard for a different reason. It's just a very tricky optimization puzzle where you have to squeeze every little bit of value out of every little resource that you have available to you, from the opening to, like, buying stuff. I could show you guys the puzzle, and I will. You know, how it works is your opponent has a Fabricator and a Zamora, and you have this much stuff and have to beat it. And the Zamora in this case, it's a special Zamora. It, oh, is that a... I wonder if that's a bug, because I think I have the battlefield info panels disabled. Huh. Anyways. So this Zamora, rather than giving 8 gold, just constructs 4 engineers. I thought there was a tip up here that said that. Maybe... No, I think we got rid of that and moved it to the info panel, but the info panel wasn't showing up. Normally, special units have their info panels show up no matter what. We should... I'll make a note of that. We should do something about that, because some people didn't know that. But anyways. Yeah, Main GI, you know what this is about. Don't spoil it. Don't spoil it. Yeah, and also the Zamora is weird. It's 25 health, right? There's a reason for that, and we'll get to it. But anyways, we made this mission, and it was fucking hard, and we felt that it deserved to be the last mission in this set of missions. And I was very interested to see how long it would take people to solve it, and we gave it to some test solvers, and they agreed, like, yeah, this mission's fucking hard. It's worthy of that. But that, like, the test solving, that happened in, like, summer or fall of 2016, I want to say, when we did a bunch of test solving. I know some people like Apucci and Wise Guy. I think we invited them to try these out. I have a spreadsheet of everyone who tried them. Like DeBelange tried them, and they sort of like rated the puzzles. You know, how long did this take you? Blah blah blah. Yeah, and yeah, everybody agreed it was hard. And we actually did the like star ratings of the puzzles after we did that test solve. So we kind of looked at how long did people spend on each puzzle, and any puzzle that like somebody might have spent a really long time on, we made sure it had a skull. A spreadsheet of puzzle solvers. I mean, it's literally just like, you know, a stack of spreadsheets. Each person had one spreadsheet, and for each puzzle they said, you know, how long did it take you? Did you like it? Were there any bugs? Any other comments? Like, you know, just basic like feedback on the puzzles. Anyways, so this was shipped, I guess, you know, a month or so ago, and we launched our puzzle pack. And lots of people played through the whole puzzle pack, and people actually were clearing it, you know, at a reasonable rate. And actually, a few folks found alternate solutions that I didn't know existed. So the first report came in that I think somebody was talking about this mission, and they said, like, yeah, it didn't seem that hard. I just like shot down the Zamora and I won. And I thought that was weird. We never had, like, I'm pretty sure you couldn't shoot down the Zamora in that mission. I thought you would lose if you did that. So sure enough, we looked at the mission, we investigated it, and you could shoot down the Zamora. And so there was this alternate solution that we had not envisioned, and so we said, okay, well, we'll just like boost Zamora's HP to 25, because we don't want that solution to be there. It was like a cheapo sort of, like a trick to get out of the mission. And, you know, I scratched my head a little bit over, like, why didn't we notice this before? We definitely would have noticed this. I definitely would have tested it. But I just chalked it up to, like, oh, I must have overlooked something 2 years ago when we designed this mission. And I don't really have, you know, detailed notes about every single branch of ways that you might try to win this mission and which succeed and which fail. You know, I might have when I made the mission, but I didn't really save that type of stuff. I did have a solution somewhere, and I verified that, okay, the solution that I wrote down still worked. And the mission had not changed in those 2 years. And in fact, I looked at the history of these, like the file, basically, that this mission is in, and tried to see if anybody changed anything. And no, there was no changes. So whatever, we changed Zamora to 25. And I got another report. Somebody told me, you know, one of our players said, that last mission felt really easy. Like, I was expecting an insane challenge, and, like, the first thing I tried just worked. And I thought, oh, that doesn't seem right. I mean, I guess you just got lucky or something, right? And we had another report. I think, yeah, Main GI told me that they had a solution that didn't use protoplasm at all. And I was like, no, protoplasm is definitely necessary. You can't win this without protoplasm. And then I got the solution, and I tried it out, and I was like, damn, it works. What the hell? Like, did something in this mission change? Like, did something happen? Why is this mission seeming so much easier than it was 2 years ago? And I'm not going to play through any solutions. I don't want to spoil anything. But basically, you know, I was scratching my head. I was like, what the hell's going on? I remember this being impossible. And, you know, if I look back at the spreadsheet of the comments that people left, like, you know, Will took a fucking long-ass time on this. Like, a lot of people took a long time on this. So I thought really hard, and I was like, there's got to be something that changed. There has to be, because our memory of the difficulty just didn't line up with reality, and there are too many coincidences, like protoplasm not being necessary, Zamora's HP being the wrong amount. They all just seemed wrong to me. You know, and I have great trust in myself as a puzzle creator, as well as the rest of my team as sort of test solvers. I think that we would have found something like that. So it didn't make any sense. And so I checked again through the history of the file to see if any changes had occurred. Couldn't find anything. But actually, I noticed that the file had been, like, renamed and moved around a couple of times just as we were organizing the directories. Like, for example, when we created the puzzle pack, we had to stick this puzzle into that directory. And so there were, like, things in the logs that pertain to this file, but none of them seemed to be relevant. And I could go back to the first version of the file, and it was basically the same. And I mean, I guess what I could have done is just gone back and played that very old version on the old client and, you know, tried one of the solutions like main GIs and determined whether it worked then. But in fact, I didn't need to, because I discovered what the problem was. And the problem was that when we created this mission, the units on the opponent's side were invulnerable at the first turn at the start of the game. And we had at some point done a pass over everything to, like, clean up the appearances of certain aspects of the missions. So for example, in a mission like this, we would want the opponent's stuff to just be sitting there. And not be invulnerable. And for almost every mission, that doesn't change a damn thing. But if you look at the Fabricator in this mission, there's something kind of weird about it. If you play your first turn, you notice the Fabricator makes a Gauss cannon and ticks down to 7. If the Fabricator is invulnerable, on its first turn, the lifespan doesn't tick down. So in fact, Fabricator used to have an 8 on it right now, and not a 7. So what had happened was that when we were sort of cleaning up these missions and getting them all ready to ship, a change that looked innocuous had in fact removed a Gauss cannon from the opponent. So the Fabricator produced one less Gauss cannon than was originally intended in the original version of this mission. And so I played through it again, and I was like, okay, yeah, none of these solutions work when you add an extra lifespan to the Fabricator. And I actually tried to solve it again, right? I didn't look at my old solution. And so sometime last week I was like, okay, can it actually be solved with one more Gauss cannon? I guess it must be. And I spent half an afternoon. And I got it. And there was only one solution. And protoplasm was necessary. So that's what happened. Now, we're going to switch it back. Because we need this mission to be hard. So if you've already cleared it, I mean, we're not going to take the check mark away from you. If you've already cleared it, you can keep your check mark. But if you want to play this mission as it was intended to be played, you got to play it again. We're not going to keep both versions. No. The easy version is just like a bug. You know, and in fact, I'll make the change right now because I've already modified the source code to the mission. I just have not deployed it yet. So we can do it live. I think literally I just need to do a little pull on the server. And it should work. I don't know. We'll do it live. So this will update on the server, and then I need to just type a little thing into the console. Once that's done, that will reload the mission. Some people say they don't agree with keeping the check mark. There are a number of reasons why deleting the check mark... Well, there are a number of downsides to it. One is that, like, some people will not watch this video. And if you know, it'll be gone, they'll just report it as a bug. Like, what happened to my check mark? Or they'll actually be angry about it. Like, I thought I completed all of these. Like, what's the deal? And I also... You know, there's a non-trivial work in removing that check mark for everybody. Like, we have to go through the database and clear some stuff. And some people, in fact, did clear the legitimate version back when they did test solving. So instead, what we're going to do is we're just going to notify everybody. Like, by the way, we found a bug in this mission. It was too easy, and we've made it more difficult. It'll be in the patch notes. It'll be in, you know, this video and other things that we disseminate to our community. Yeah, like, and in the past when we've changed stuff around and messed stuff up, people have always got confused. So I can just do a /R in Prismata to do reload, and I know you guys can't see that. That's just my little dev console thingy, and now it should be hard. Yeah, there it is. So build time 1 fab, and when you play the first turn, now it has lifespan 8 instead of 7. So, that is the invasion, as it was meant to be played. It is live now, and you folks should all try it, because it's an interesting mission. I think you'll like it. Anyways, that's the story. It's kind of embarrassing for us. We had definitely checked all the missions to make sure they were beatable, but we didn't check all the missions to make sure, you know, that the original solution was, as intended, the only solution or the correct difficulty. You know, those types of things. We had no process in place that would prevent that type of error from slipping by. So, you know, and it was such a weird experience putting these clues together and thinking it was so impossible that this mission would have changed, but yet it had. Anyways, that's all for the little news update. I will catch you in the next one. See ya.